place, it's a false sense of security. So again, if you're located in this area of northern Worcester County, Gardner, Fitchburg, Leominster, seek shelter immediately. Jack?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious as we watch this radar. Is this real-time radar we're looking at now?
It's pretty close, Jack. We're talking only a matter of, say, 2, 3, maximum 4 minutes delay. And we're also getting a little bit of delay there with the lightning. You can see how the lightning lags behind the actual cell itself. But it gives you an indication, all those lightning strikes that you see up there, of how intense this storm is. Not only are you getting frequent lightning, frequent cloud-to-ground lightning, which could, of course, spark some fires, unfortunately, but you're getting the torrential rain, you're getting at least damaging straight-line wind gusts, and perhaps some hail in there, too. And, of course, with the tornado warning present, that means tornadoes are possible from this storm. They're capable of producing a tornado.
So we don't know where this circulation is other than it's somewhere in that dark red or purple area.
Exactly, Jack. The most intense part of the storm, as you just indicated, is right in here. Looks like right over State Route 140, Mass Route 2. That would be the most likely spot for the tornado to be forming. There's a hail shaft in there. There's a damaging downdraft, which will create the straight line wind gusts. And some of that downdraft can get this circulation, and that's what the Doppler radar is picking up right now. It's indicating this circulation within the storm, several thousand feet in the air, within that storm, high up in it. But with that circulation, it can start to reach closer and closer and closer to the ground, and could eventually spawn that funnel cloud, which could lead to a tornado. A tornado is when the funnel cloud touches the ground, starts to bring up debris, damaging wind at the surface. A funnel cloud, by definition, is when that is not actually hitting the ground. It's still spinning above the surface of the earth.
Yeah, we're making some calls there too, Todd, trying to get through to some people to see what they're observing. I've got a number of friends in Fitchburg and Leominster. Almost all of us have acquaintances and relatives out there, and I'm sure we're very worried about this. How frequent does this happen?
How frequent does this happen? Well, we typically see several tornadoes a year in Massachusetts. The average is about 3 to 5. In New England alone, you know, we can average up to about 10 for all 6 New England states. So it's not uncommon, but they don't happen all that often. This year, we've had several, what we were thinking were going to be tornado outbreaks. There were actually a few weekends back, if you recall, Jack, we had 2 days in a row where we were under a tornado watch, which meant that conditions were ripe for thunderstorms to form that could be the parent of a tornado. Now, during that stretch, it was a Saturday and Sunday. It was a weekend. It was a very humid one, tropical air mass around. During that stretch, we did have a couple of tornado warnings go up in New England. There were a couple out in Connecticut. There was a couple up in New Hampshire. And if you recall, that Sunday was the damaging macro burst that occurred from Metro West, basically from about Framingham, all the way through downtown in the city, and brought down numerous trees, if you recall, through the Common, through the Public Garden, and along the Charles. Numerous trees were brought down because of that macro burst. That is an example, Jack, of straight-line wind gusts. Straight-line wind gusts where debris and trees get toppled in one direction. When you have a tornado is so turbulent and the circulation is so violent that your debris field is going to be chaotic and scattered. There's no rhyme or reason to where the trees fall or the debris is thrown. In some cases, straight-line wind damage can be more destructive than tornadic conditions. Some tornadoes can be very weak. F-0 tornadoes, for instance, create winds of less than 100 miles per hour, even less than 80 miles per hour. We can see straight-line wind gusts that do exceed 80 miles per hour. And that would mean that that could be more damaging than a tornado. But once again, to recap here, we have a tornado warning in place for northern Worcester County, for the cities of Gardner, for Fitchburg, for Leominster. And it's this cell right here that is moving to the east, southeast, at 25 miles per hour. and will continue to affect northern Worcester County through 7:45. So we're going to have about another 20 minutes with this warning in place. I'm going to widen out just a little bit. I'm going to loop this for you so you get an idea of the direction that this cell is moving in. And you can see how quickly it developed here in northern Worcester County, basically right over Winchendon, clipped Gardner, and it's now moving to the east and pretty much right over Westminster, approaching the Fitchburg, Leominster town lines there, city lines there. And if it continues on this path, would move through Fitchburg and Leominster through the next 20 minutes and perhaps graze Princeton, northern Princeton, perhaps graze northern Sterling, and perhaps getting into Lancaster here in the next half an hour to 40 minutes. A lot of lightning detected. I'm going to stop this for you so you get an idea of all the lightning strikes that have been detected with this storm. That would mean cloud-to-ground lightning, cloud-to-cloud lightning. Cloud-to-ground lightning is the lightning you don't want to see. That's when it comes right out of the cloud and goes right down to the ground. And it can hit structures, it can hit trees, it can hit power lines, leading to numerous power outages and potential fires. Well, the other problem, of course, is that we have a tornado warning. And let me just read this statement from the Weather Service. Let's see here. Severe thunderstorm warning. Okay, so they just issued a severe thunderstorm warning for north central Worcester, producing golf ball size hail. Let's see where this one is. I'm going to make a couple of clicks here for you and see. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning.
Well, it's interesting as you're telling us that. Keep doing so, Todd, but it's going right down the old Mohawk Trail. That's right down Route 2. That's a very famous corridor. Absolutely, Jack.
Yeah, the Route 2 corridor. Yeah, and beautiful country up there.
I was thinking too about, is it last winter when that tornado hit for that long stretch over much of southern part of New Hampshire?
That was last summer, if I recall correctly. That was a severe thunderstorm that did produce a tornado in the Lakes region of New Hampshire, and tragically, a grandmother, if I recall correctly, passed away while protecting her grandchildren. And yeah,
I guess I pointed this out, just the potential destructive power of something like this. For if any of you are watching right now in one of the communities that Todd has been talking about, and especially Fitchburg, Leominster, that's coming right at you right now. You should be taking precautions. Those of you who have family in that area, if you can try to get through to them on their cell phones, they may not be watching television right now, and just let them know what's coming up. And these are, I thought Todd gave some wonderful advice just a few moments ago. Get away from the windows. Anytime a big storm hits, when there's circular motion or even that straight line damage, windows get blown out. Go to your basement if you have one. Get right to the interior of your house. Do not open windows. That's an old wives' tale. What people would actually open windows to let equalize pressure. Do not do it. Get away from windows. Get under a staircase. I thought Todd made a very good point, too. If you don't have a basement, if you have a porcelain tub, get in that porcelain tub. Take one of the mattresses off one of your single beds and put it over there to give yourself some protection, because this is very dangerous. There is circulation being viewed now, but there's no one, I don't believe, Todd, to this point, has seen a tornado.
As of right now, Jack, we have no indication that a tornado is on the ground. I'm checking some observations right now, and I just put up a graphic here. I'm trying to give you an idea of the direction that this cell is moving in at about 35 miles per hour there. Again, a tornado warning in place from the National Weather Service until 7:45 this evening, another 15 minutes. And I'm checking some damage reports, and to this point, the Weather Service has not issued anything across the wires on whether there's been any wind damage or hail or anything like that, or even a funnel cloud spotted at this point. But basically what the Weather Service goes through here is they have Doppler radar spinning around, and their radar picks up storms up to about 200 miles away. And this particular storm, via Doppler radar, was indicating some circulation in it. And that circulation was so intense that it was capable of parenting a funnel cloud or tornado.